again. Let's get straight to it, man. You know, this topic is one that I wasn't even positive I was going to touch on, but I feel that I absolutely have to, because this entire situation is just blowing my mind. You know, the situation with Shannon Sharpe being sued by this extremely young woman for $50 million. It's just crazy, right? And to be honest with you, it really saddens me because, you know, when it comes to celebrities, right? When it comes to people who are in the public eye, you know, for the most part, we don't really buy into the facade or into the persona that people put on. We know that most of it's cap, right? But every now and then there's celebrities, there's people that come along that you actually feel that you resonate with. You know, over a long period of time, you see the way that they carry themselves, you see how they talk, you know, wisdom that they divulge, and it does sometimes seem authentic. You start thinking, okay, you know, yeah, this one seems like a stand-up person. You know, they actually seem like a real, genuine human being, right? But then the beautiful part about life is that what's in the dark always comes to the light, and people always reveal themselves. And in this particular situation, you know, when it comes to Shannon Sharpe, obviously I'm very familiar with Shannon Sharpe. I'm an avid football fan, so obviously I watched his entire NFL career. And I also, after his NFL career was over, you know, he matriculated to CBS. Things kind of went south there. A few years went by, and obviously Skip Bayless gave him the opportunity that changed his life when he let him be his co-host on Undisputed. They had magic together. It was an outstanding show, but obviously they had a fallout as well. But that actually led to Shannon Sharpe leaning more into his own content. And over the last year and a half, he obviously had a meteoric rise, and he has truly taken off, right? Now, what worked so well for Shannon Sharpe, obviously, is his charisma, his personality. He's a Southern guy. He has that drawl. He has a lot of anecdotes and you know, sayings that have always come across as being extremely entertaining and funny to the masses and media. So, you know, he's a very charismatic guy. He's a very entertaining guy. So that worked out well for him, and he's very likable, right? But, you know, the part about Shannon that surprises me, you know, now that we have this new development, is the fact that, you know, obviously being a celebrity for more than 30 years at this point, you would think that he got some wisdom along the way as far as the way that feminine nature works, the way that women think, the way that women operate. You would think that a guy who's been a celebrity for more than 30 years would have some common sense when it comes to being able to avoid letting women line him up. But as we see from the developments that have occurred over this last week or so, Shannon Sharpe is unfortunately nothing but an old fool. You tell me, how the fuck does a man who has been in the public eye for more than 30 years at this point, how does a man who's a 56-year-old multi-millionaire, Hall of Fame football player, who has access to some of the baddest women due to the fact that he has status, he has cachet, he has money, he has access to some bad women, and yet he allowed this absolutely mid bitch in her early 20s to line him up? How do you allow some mid bitch who's flat as a goddamn board to line you up when you are a multi-millionaire? You would have thought he would have gained some kind of discernment over his lifetime by this point, right? Any man should know when a woman is in a position of leverage, you know? Anytime you have all of this to lose and you let some chick who's in her early 20s, nothing special to look at in any way, and yet you put yourself in a sloppy position where you're allowing her to record your phone calls, be able to use your text messages against you. You allow that chick somehow to jeopardize you from obtaining the biggest bag of your lifetime, because I know y'all seen it in the news cycle, right? You've seen it in the news cycle. Shannon Sharpe, his contract with the Volume actually is just coming to an end. And he is in line to get $100 million bag for his podcast network, the Shay Shay Network. And yet, when you're at the very precipice of your professional life, you're about to get the biggest score. You're about to hit the lick of all licks. And yet, of all people to bring you down, it is this absolutely lackluster, flat as a board, mid bitch. That's who you allow to jeopardize this. This is a cautionary tale because a lot of men have a problem with having discernment. How could you avoid this? Well, first of all, this is just a novel idea. First of all, why would you be messing with a bitch who's not even a 3 out of a 10? A bitch who's an absolute mediocre bitch. Why would that? Sometimes, you know, I only say that to say this. There's never any excuse for a man allowing a woman to line him up. But a lot of times when we're looking at a case study such as this, and we see a woman who lines a man up, a lot of times it's going to be a badass bitch. And sometimes us as men, we can see the logic, we can see the level of thinking or the train of thought that was going into it. You say, oh man, well, yeah, she caught him slipping, but I can see where his mind was at because this chick is bad as hell. So clearly, I can see how some guys could fall into that trap of getting taken advantage of or being lined up by a bitch. But when we saw that picture come out of this chick, Gabriela Zuniga, whatever her name is, when you hear that name, you're thinking, okay, it's probably some badass Latina. This nigga caught a bad one. She saw a mark and she took advantage of him. So we're expecting to see some bad bitch, right? But lo and behold, when the pictures come out, it is the absolute most plain Jane, lackluster mid bitch, chest flat as a board. Like I said earlier, you can literally iron your clothes on this bitch's chest. It's so flat. And that's who caught Shannon Sharpe, the multi-millionaire NFL Hall of Famer. That's who caught him slipping. Why were you fucking with her in the first place, bruh? I mean, now, I'm not gonna try to judge another man's preferences, but I will judge your quality in your preferences, you know? Because I couldn't care less if the bitch was white, black, Latina. I don't care. At least let her be bad, and she's nowhere near that. And yet, kudos to her, because she caught a live one. She caught a live one. Simp-ass nigga probably was paying for it. Clearly, if you're actually having phone conversations with this bitch, like, why are we even talking? Bitch, you're nothing but a fuck toy. Why are we even talking? The fact that they actually having all this dialogue lets me know that he was obviously taking her more seriously than he should have. She should have just been a fucking slam piece, bruh. Why are we even having phone conversations to be recorded in the first place? How are you allowing yourself to get lined up with that level of debauchery? God, it's unbelievable, man. You would think that a man who has lived so many years, who's been in the game for so many years, he would have obtained a level of common sense to be able to avoid these kind of pitfalls by this point. He's 56 years old, going on 60. He is on his way well towards 60 at this point, and yet you let a girl a bitch who wasn't even here to witness 9/11, she wasn't even born yet when 9/11 hit, and you let some bitch who has been living that little bit of life catch you slipping, line your ass up, and now she's well on her way to being able to get millions out of your goofy ass, all because you didn't have enough discernment or common sense to avoid it. 56 years old. He's just an old ass fool. A lot of niggas calling him Unc. No, motherfucker, you're not Unc. You're not Unc anymore, nigga. You need to check in with us, because us young niggas, we know the game. We know the way women work. We know the way they think. And most of us young niggas would never have allowed some lame mid bitch to catch us slipping like that. I guarantee it. Nigga, you not Unc, nigga. You check in with us now. We Unc to you, nigga. Because you ain't nothing but an old clown ass nigga. And don't get me wrong, I like Shannon Sharpe when it comes to his perspective and his sports analysis. I like him. He's a very charismatic, likable guy, very entertaining. But man, when it comes to his perspective on dating and women, man, does this change things? Because he clearly doesn't know how to maneuver out here. Even though he's, like I said, a multi-millionaire football Hall of Famer who clearly has access to tons of different women of the highest quality. And yet, even though he has that level of access, somehow, some way, he has allowed himself to be susceptible to the bullshit. And he has allowed himself to be open and exposed financially now to some young mid bitch who has accomplished nothing in life, yet is now well on her way to being able to get millions from him. All because he could not use enough discernment, and because he was not streetwise or smart enough to make sure that he is protecting himself from all angles, to make sure that he doesn't get lined up like the goofy ass nigga that he is, to lose money just because he has no dick discipline as far as where he's sticking his dick. Because god damn it, why would you be fucking with this mid bitch in the first place? I wouldn't touch that bitch with a 10-foot pole, and I'm not even rich. Bro, you're a multi-millionaire. What are you doing fucking with that mid-ass chick? It's crazy. You're gonna put 100 M's at Jeopardy over that? You're gonna let this bitch catch you slipping, responding back to text messages? You're gonna let that bitch catch you slipping, recording your calls, dropping them to the masses so we can hear what you're saying, talking about choking the bitch? And no, don't get me wrong. The majority of bitches do love getting choked and slapped around. I know that personally. But I'll be damned if I let somebody record me saying some dumb shit like that. If we ever is talking on the phone and some chick talking about choking her, if she talking to me about choking her, I'm gonna act like I don't know what she even talking about, bro. I'm like, girl, you crazy as hell. I ain't never choked you in my life, girl. What you talking about? It's just common sense. It's just street smarts, things that you learn as a man, because you got to be able to tell when a woman is trying to take advantage of you, when she's trying to line you up, when she's trying to line you up. This old clown ass nigga still doesn't have enough discernment to be able to tell that. And it's crazy. He's been a millionaire for decades. Decades, guys. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And get this. Tell me if the red flags would not have gone off in y'all's head. When that chick said, I want you to put a big black baby inside of me. A big black baby. Who allows a woman from another race to talk to them like that? What old clown ass nigga even allows that? Bro, put your fucking foot down. You need to put the bitch in a place right there. Like, bitch, who are you talking to? Why are you saying this goofy shit to me? Who do you think you talking to right now? Yeah, he just went along with it. I want you to put a big black baby inside of me. Was that not a red flag right then and there? Could you not tell that you were well in line for the lineup? She was gonna line your ass up one way or another. First of all, she was gonna try to trap you, dumbass. She was gonna try to trap you with a baby. She was adamant about it. And yet, this nigga, so caught up in lust, allowed himself to look past that and still keep fucking with this dumb chick. I'm telling you, this old ass nigga has no street smarts. He has no clue how feminine nature works. And this motherfucker is pushing 60 soon. This just goes to show you guys, wisdom does not necessarily come with age. Shannon Sharpe has been in the game for decades, and still does not know how the game works. A woman is always going to take advantage of a man who overextends himself. If he has all this money and she finds a way to finesse it out of him, she's always going to take advantage of any leverage she can obtain. And a baby is leverage. Text messages, leverage. Recorded phone calls, leverage. Motherfucker, she's not talking to you because of your looks. She's talking to you because of what you could do for her. Even the most basic mid bitches like Gabriella Zuniga, they all are trying to take advantage of the leverage that they can obtain from fucking with you. And now, when you're on the precipice of getting $100 million bag, you are putting that in jeopardy. Now that possibly may have gone away at this point, because no company is going to want to be attached to this shitstorm. Especially seeing there's another chick has also now come out the woodworks talking about, oh yeah, he was extra rough with me, he was assaulting me. Now it's going to probably be one of them situations where it's one thing after another and it's going to snowball. All because this old clown ass nigga does not know how to insulate himself and how to protect himself from being lined up from bitches. Bitches are going to keep trying to line you up, dog. Even dudes who just make good money. Like, I have a good career, right? But I'm not rich. But even I have enough street smarts, wisdom, and discernment to prevent myself from being lined up by bitches. Because they still try. Even in Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida, where I live at, women will see a man who's successful and they're gonna look for ways to line your ass up. They are looking to line your ass up like a barber straight out of school. You know what I mean? It's your job as a man to be able to see that shit coming a mile away and to prevent it. Still be able to get what you want out of the situation while not allowing them to get anything out of it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of being a man. Being able to live enough life where you can learn to live and avoid these pitfalls. Because women are treacherous, man. They're deceitful. They're conniving. But they're not going to change. You just have to learn how to deal with them. I'm 39 years old and I know this. Why the fuck does this 56-year-old multimillionaire Hall of Famer not know this? It's unbelievable. $100 million, guys. He was in line for $100 million for his podcast network, the Shay Shay Network. Call that shit the Cray Cray Network, because this motherfucker, he is operating on some crazy time. All this money at stake, and you're down here slumming with these mid bitches. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, dog. Shit is crazy. I don't know, man. That's just my take, though. It just threw me for a loop, because I assumed, just from some of the accounts and some of the stories that Shannon Sharpe talks about, on his podcast, more so on the one that he has with Chad Johnson, when they're talking about their interactions with women, it seems like Shannon Sharpe, he kind of gets it. He kind of has a bit of that red pill mindset that you absolutely had to have with modern women, but sometimes guys are just talking the talk, but they don't really walk the walk, and that's what it seems like in this particular scenario. He's talking the talk like he's red pill aware. He knows the way women work, the way that they think, the way they operate, and yet at the very same time, look what has happened. This very same guy, who you would assume has enough wisdom and knowledge to avoid those kind of pitfalls from deceitful women, this fool, this old ass clown ass fool, has allowed himself to be put in a position where he is jeopardizing the biggest bag of his entire life. Unbelievable. But let this be a cautionary tale, guys. No matter how old you get, you can still be a damn clown ass fool. Wisdom does not necessarily come with years. That's what people say. Oh, older people have wisdom. Clearly, that's not the case. If Shannon Sharpe can be 56 years old and still let somebody who just got out of high school a few years ago line his ass up and take him for a ride, wisdom does not necessarily come with age. It comes with lived experiences. And I thought he would have lived enough experiences by this point to know better, but clearly that's not the case. Not the case at all. But that's just my take on this matter, man. What do y'all think? Hit me in the comments. Like this video, subscribe. This is your man, Thatcher Great. I'll holla. Peace.